Selina, let me start with you. After that spike of almost 15,000 new confirmed cases under that new method, the number today seems to be a little bit closer to trend.
Yeah, this is the second day of reporting with that new method, far lower than those 15,000 new cases that were added yesterday, but it's roughly double the number of what the province was reporting before this new methodology started, so about 4,823 new cases. But the World Health Organization has pointed out that those cases added yesterday had dated back days and weeks before and did not represent this sudden new surge in infection. So we'll have to monitor in the coming days, but we could again start to see that trend line start to stabilize. This all does come down to the new reporting methodology, which now includes a group of new patients that are diagnosed through CT scans alongside those confirmed by previous methods of nucleic acid testing kits. But this all places renewed focus on questions around the reliability of the data coming out of China and the true extent of the outbreak.
And Yvonne, the latest in terms of disruptions or paranoia in the tourism sector, we had that cruise ship here in Sydney, the Norwegian Jewel just behind me actually, reports coming out that there was a patient that was being tested for coronavirus. We've since heard from the cruise ship company though.
Yeah, they're coming out in a statement to Bloomberg News. This is a spokesperson saying that this morning there were various false media reports related to an illness on board our ship. There is absolutely no truth to this. The vessel remains in operation and all guests on board are in good health. This is after we learned from the newspaper there saying that the Norwegian Jewel arrived in Sydney this morning. They were testing a Singaporean man who fell ill with respiratory illness. The company coming out saying that is in fact not the case. But as you mentioned, this just goes to show the fear that countries and even the tourism industry are facing right now after that Diamond Princess cruise had 218 cases where people contracted the coronavirus. We saw an additional 44 yesterday. And at this point, we are continuing to see the financial fallout for these cruise liners. Royal Caribbean out with earnings overnight, canceling 18 sailings, they now say, in Southeast Asia in response to this outbreak. That's going to hurt its 2020 profit. They say earnings could be shaved off by 65 cents a share this year. And they say the fears go beyond just Asia now. Even when it comes to their recent bookings on their broader business are getting softer as well.
Yeah, it's really difficult to see who would be booking cruise trips at the moment, right? Selina, we are continuing to watch for the political fallout, of course, with the National People's Congress, a big political powwow that takes place every March now in jeopardy. And we've had, sort of yet more changes at the top in terms of officials being removed as well.
Yeah, we've rapidly seen this escalate from a health crisis into a political one. We had two top communist leaders sacked, the Hubei provincial leader as well as the Wuhan city leader. And this is really a sign of Beijing's growing dissatisfaction with the situation. And we saw this removal come just hours after that methodology change. So this does give this new group of leaders a clean slate to start in a way, since it's very important that they have an accurate reading of numbers before these new leaders come in. As for that National People's Congress, quite significant if China does, in fact, decide to delay that event. This is the biggest annual political meeting. It's when a lot of big announcements are made, including China's economic targets. And if this is delayed, it would be the first time that's been done in decades.
Yvonne, now we also have another death outside mainland China, this time in Japan.
Yeah, that's the first fatality for Japan. What we've learned so far, this was a woman in her 80s that lived outside of Tokyo in the Kanagawa prefecture. And she initially was actually being treated for a separate condition. It was after her death that the doctors discovered that she tested positive for the coronavirus. And local media reports also saying that she is the mother-in-law of a taxi driver who also contracted the disease. Health officials have not confirmed that yet, but this just goes to show there are more indications now that this is being locally transmitted in Japan. And a lot of these cases, the new cases, people had no travel history in China.